Hi, we are here for week 2 of Crawl. And so hopefully week 1 went really well. And honestly, if you struggled with week 1 and you feel you need another week of week 1, then I absolutely encourage you to do so. If any part of this process is harder than what you originally thought, then before going to the next one, I want you to be comfortable in what we were doing in the previous step. It's like in school. You don't skip any of the processes of learning long division because then you won't remember how to do it in the end. So if you need to go back to week 1, feel free. If you have to do week 1 for 5 solid weeks for it to be comfortable, habit, and happy for you, then that's what I suggest. But if week 1 was really good and you're ready for week 2, then I am here for you. So week 1, we went over our state of positivity for our mind parts. And week 2 is still going to work within the power of positivity. But we're going to refine it just a little bit. So in the power of positivity, we first train ourselves not to go to an immediate negative thought. We train ourselves to go into a positive thought. That raises our vibrations into a more positive state, which makes everything else just kind of follow suit. And so now we're going to get very specific, and I'm going to give you a very clear example of it. So we are going to start working on changing our reality. And the things we say create our realities. We need to remember that. So for instance, people would always say, "How are the kids?" And I would say, "Oh my gosh, they are so bad. I don't know what's wrong with these kids. They drive me crazy." And before I knew it, they were as bad as I said they were. I was creating them into what my idea of them was, if that makes any sense to you. So I decided in the power of positivity process to start refining my reality. And so I made it a very conscious effort to start changing that answer. And so from then on out, anytime anybody asked me how my kids were, my answer was a deep breath. They are amazing, wonderful kids, and I am so grateful that they're mine. And it felt so fake and forced the first time I said it that I was like, these people have to know, I just totally lied to them. And I did, but I continued to do it, and I continued to do it, and before I knew it, I was saying it from my heart. And all of a sudden, I looked back, and this last week, my kids never bugged me even once. No part of them was a pain in the butt to me, or bad, or being overreactive. And it made me realize that we speak our realities. So my goal for you this week in the mind process is to change your realities. So take one thing that you normally speak not so positive about, think about a way to change it into something more positive, and that is going to be your answer from here on out. So, and then you're going to learn we can do that in every part of our lives, and it's wonderful. And my life is amazingly grand and abundant and beautiful, and I have the most beautiful people around me, and it's all because that's what I decided my soul and my being deserved, and that's what I got. So for the body, this is going to be a tough one for some of us. It's still really tough for me, but we are going to say bye-bye to soda. I know that soda is a big deal for very many of us. And I even still struggle with just wanting a soda. But you will find that the refined sugars in the soda, or the just complete chemical substance that tastes sweet, that we are calling a sugar substitute, without that in our bodies have a tendency to heal a lot faster. And healing is the part that we want to focus on this week, really truly jump-starting the healing process. And in order to do that, we really have to remove a lot of the chemicals we consume. So keep in mind that our bodies um, have sensors. Our stomach has a sensor. Every part of our body has a sensor. And when you eat real foods, real live foods, our bodies immediately know what it is. They go, that is broccoli. It gives me this, and this. And I immediately know how to break it down and filter off all of those wonderful nutrients to the areas it belongs to. Right? Sounds correct. But then when we give our bodies chemicals, which our bodies get confused, they go, it tastes like this, but I can't find the nutrients that go with it. But what I am finding is a lot of weird stuff, and I don't know what it is. And so you need to know that when our bodies don't know what it's consuming, it puts it in a state of panic. So it says, I don't know what this is. It must be a toxin, and therefore I need to get it away from my vital organs. So what does your body then do? Is it takes all these chemicals and toxins and it pushes it off into your fat cells. It's your body's defense mechanism. And those fat cells then hold all those toxins. Your muscles hold a lot of toxins, but it's there to keep those toxins away from your organs. And so the body takes what it can and breaks it down and utilizes it, and what it can't, it shoves away until it can find another way to dispose of it. And a lot of people, they feel like they're only getting so far when they lose weight, or they end up getting really sick when they lose weight, and you need to understand why. Your body has stuffed a mass amount of toxins off into other areas to protect itself. And as we lose weight, we are now forcing ourselves to break down and do something with these toxins. Finally flush them out in some way, because the body does try to flush them out, but it takes time. So it needs to store it somewhere until we can sweat it out, or we can run it through our systems, or however it needs to. But then when we eat so many things that our body sees as a toxin, it doesn't have the time to break it down and discard it the way it's supposed to. So these fat cells just keep getting bigger and bigger and more full of all these like jam-packed toxins and chemicals that our bodies have no idea what to do with. So we need to start cutting down on our intake of chemicals and toxins. In doing so, our body will start to say, wait a minute, I'm not getting any bad stuff, so let's start processing some of the stuff we have stored on the side. And yes, in this process, sometimes it makes you feel really sludgy or pooey, but it's a process we just have to go through because we put our bodies into this state. The only way to get out of it is to actually process it back down. And so we do want to do that, but we want to do it in a very slow and healthy way. If you introduce too many toxins into your system at once, you could go into multi-organ failure. You could end up really sick and hurting yourself. And that is not a safe or goal or realistic way to do this. So I really suggest that we don't do any extras in this process. We don't take a bunch of detox teas or anything like that, because trust me, just doing these changes are causing a detox in the body. Remember that it happens so slowly for us that we don't see it. The only time sometimes we notice it is when we revert back and then all of a sudden feel like poo and go, oh wow, I haven't felt like that in a while, that we realize how much progress our bodies are actually getting from this. So talk to your doctors again if you need to. Let him know that on week 2, we want to cut out soda. If that's not something he wants you to do, he will say, I don't like that idea. I think you should drink your soda. And then, you know what? When it comes down to it, he's the doctor. But I have a feeling he's not going to have any problem with week 2. So, week 2 is changing our realities. Cutting out soda because it is a lot of chemicals and refined sugars that our bodies don't need. And for our soul work, our daily affirmation should be, I am love, because we are all 100% a creation of pure, unconditional love by God, Source, Buddha, whatever you believe. The foundation of every religion is one perfect thing, that we are unconditional love. And the moment you start to remember that, you start to remember the power within yourself. So week 2, good luck. If you have any questions, feel free to post them. I'm here for you, and I can't wait for crawl week 3.